Hello. Thank you guys so much for tuning in as always. I really appreciate it. Just a couple of quick things before we get started. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. That really helps me out and help kind of build the content and the popularity of the videos. I'm at 740 subscribers and I need 1,000 for me to take my phone with me and take it to do YouTube lives kind of anywhere I go, which is kind of the hope. Anyway, also, if you could, please like and share the video. The more you guys share the videos with other people, that really helps me out a lot. And then the other thing I was going to say, if you'd like to support the channel, please consider becoming a patron on Patreon. That helps kind of supplement my income while I'm not teaching or doing seminars right now, kind of in person. I'm also available for Zoom lessons. These are one-on-one lessons online with me, so I can kind of analyze your game and give you some good feedback if you want to work with me directly. I also have solo drills. Solo drills foundations available on Vimeo if you'd like to have your own solo drills to kind of practice at home, kind of build your foundation. So anyway, I know everyone's kind of getting back to normal depending on where you are and what schools you're in. So I really appreciate those of you guys for tuning in today. Today we're going to do the collar choke and the sit-up sweep from guard. And I'm going to give you guys lots of solo drills and how to implement them. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to warm up. So we're going to warm up really simple, just like we did last time with a hip bridge. This is just to make sure we're activating our posterior chain. So we're going to lay down, we're going to bridge. And when we're doing this bridge, we want to make sure we're engaging our glutes and using our hamstrings and not using our lower back. So we're going to do about 20 of these just to warm up. Okay, now we're going to just warm up our spine by rocking. So we're going to hold our legs, engaging our core here, making sure everything is connected. Tucking our chin to our chest, we're going to rock back, kind of warm up the spine, and then come to the top. If you'd like to challenge yourself, you can balance here with your feet off the ground, kind of help engage. This is very guard-like. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, now that we've kind of warmed up there, we're just going to move side to side just like we did last time. So we're going to engage our core, kind of making sure all this is nice and zipped up. We're going to touch our ankle and then touch our ankle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and break down posture in the guard. So this is kind of a reverse rock. We're going to go ahead and bring our heels into our butt, and then we're going to rock back through here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, core should be now. Okay, that was breaking on posture there. Now we're going to reverse the motion and reach up like we're going for the collar choke. So we're going for the collar choke. We're going to crisscross our arms and then grab. And what we're going to try to do is keep this planted, and we're going to reach up, collar choke, and then back down. We're going to do about 10 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very good. Now let's roll over to our stomach. And we're going to stretch. Core should be pretty warm at this point. Can move around in here. We're going to slide our knee up, drop our hip down, and look over our back shoulder. And switch. Push back. Okay, now we're gonna move into what we call a side bend sit. This is for your hips, kind of warm up a little bit. It's also serves a couple other purposes. So we're just gonna go ahead and just do some movement to some stretches, just to kind of warm our hips. So one leg is behind me and the other leg is here. The goal is both of our sit bones should be kind of on the ground at the same time. Let's kind of open up our hips a little bit. I'm gonna move at an angle so everyone can see a little bit better. Now, what we're gonna do is we're going to try to keep our feet planted, okay? Not using our hands. If you need to use your hands, that's fine. We're gonna open up and then go to the other side. So we're kind of building strength and range of motion with internal and external rotation of our hips. So in, and then the other side. Now, once you get to here, we're gonna lean over our knee, get a deep glute stretch, and then come back up. Deep glute stretch, and then come back up. Come back up. And then come back up. Now we're gonna go ahead and do a side bend sit to a cross kneeling. So we're gonna drive our hip flexors forward. We're gonna point our toes so we roll over ankle. If my foot is flexed, it might actually hurt my ankles. I'm gonna roll, driving my hips forward. I'm gonna lower with control, and then reverse the motion. Okay, get our side bend sit, point our toe, drive our hips forward, lower with control, and then reverse the motion. Drive the hips forward, lower with control, reverse the motion. And the reason why we're doing this is because we're doing the sit-up suit today. It's all about driving our hips forward. So we're trying to build basically movement patterns. So a lot of people would say, well, solo drills, it's not jiu-jitsu because you're not getting that feedback. That's true. We're trying to have self-mastery, and it's also good to see where your movement inefficiencies are. Because movement inefficiencies lead to injuries when you start adding resistance. So depending on what state you're in, you might be back to training. You might still be in quarantine. Like I'm in Virginia, and we just got into phase 2. So some people are like drilling at least, maybe doing a little bit of light rolling, but it is not, I would say, normal yet. So I think this is a perfect opportunity in this time to really work on these movement inefficiencies so we feel good about ourselves here. So now we're going to do what we call a side bend sit get up. Very similar to the sit-up sweep. And this is just good to kind of warm up your body, but also kind of see where, like I said, your movement inefficiencies are. We're going to drive our hips forward. Now we're going to balance on this knee. So I'm shifting my weight to this knee to bring this leg up. So I'm in this lunge here. Toes on the stand. Now I reverse the motion. So I'm going to lower with control, reverse lunge. Now this is the hardest part. I'm going to stabilize on this leg, balance, and bring this knee back into that side bend sit, the cross kneeling, and then lower with control. Okay? That is the whole movement. So this is what we call a side bend sit get up, reverse the motion, side bend sit. Now I'm going to do our cross kneeling, hip bridge here. I'm going to move some spirituals out of the way. Stabilize, lunge, standing. Now we reverse the motion. Lower with control. Bring this leg back. And then reverse it. Drive. Reverse the motion. Balance here to bring this knee back. Now we're in the cross kneeling, side bend sit, reverse it. Cross kneeling, lunge to standing, reverse the motion, low, okay, back to our cross kneeling, lower with control. So our hips should be nice and warm, our core is warm, okay, our core is warm here. okay, which is really good. Okay, our hips are warm. Now we're going to do basically what we call basically a technical get up. So when we do our technical get up, I like to teach it the way we teach in kettlebells, which is a get up, basically a kettlebell get up. We're going to do it without an object. So when we're driving to the top here, it's very important that regardless of what we're doing, we're engaging our pelvic floors to make sure everything is really tight. So I'm going to put my elbow on the mat here. In jiu-jitsu, sometimes we reach out here to slide our elbow underneath us. That also works, but we're just going to do it as a regular get up today to get into this tall sit. So I'm going to use this foot. This is my post leg. This is my elbow. Now this is all engaged here. I'm going to push. Everything is nice and rigid. I push to my elbow. Now when my elbow is here, my elbow is underneath my shoulder. My hand is planted firmly. I have this leg on the ground. Now I'm going to push up to my hand. Okay, and this is kind of just like our shield, kind of our stand and base position. Then we're going to plank here. So when we're plank, we're going to push up off the ground to plank. So I'm pushing off the ground. So my hips are locking up. This leg is straight. Now I'm going to do almost like a stand and base. I bring my knee till it lines up with this hand here. Okay. Now I'm going to pivot. I'm in my lunge. Then I stand. Now we're going to reverse the motion. Reverse. I windshield wiper this foot. Very important to do. I'm going to basically, it's kind of like a windmill, like thread through here, so my hand lines up with my knee. Now I want to sit underneath. So where my knee is, that's where I want to sit. My butt. So now I'm in this tall sit. Now I lower my elbow to get that T-spine rotation. Then I lower my shoulder to the ground. It's essentially what you do for like a Turkish get-up. So I'm showing on the other side so we can see it. And the reason I like this, it's a great way to warm up, but also it's a great way to see all the different components. So my elbow's on the ground here. I'm going to push myself up to my elbow to my tall sit. Okay, so my shoulders are in a nice straight line. We do a lot of stuff in guard from a tall sit, your Kimura, your guillotine, your sit-up sweep. Now I'm going to plank and push up. So I'm really locking out my hips here. This is really, really important. Now I'm going to throw this leg through until it lines up with my hand. Now I'm going to pivot. My gaze should be forward now. I'm going to stand, just like we did in our side bend sit get up. Lower with control. I windshield wiper the foot. I'm going to windmill down. Now I sit underneath. Tall sit. T-spine rotation. Lower back with control. And that is your get up. So that is kind of all the different components that you need basically to get up, to do kind of your sit-up sweep. So I like to show like the warm-up / all the different movements that you can do on your own. And now I'm going to show you guys kind of how this applies if you like to shadow grapple a move or how you use this in context. So I have Bear drills here and I'm going to use him to kind of show what I'm going to be talking about. So when we're in the guard position, especially for myself, when I'm kind of attacking from the guard, one of my number one priorities, and I did a private lesson recently about this, is we're always trying to break down posture in the guard. When I'm breaking down posture in the guard, if it's talking about self-defense, is to stop someone from punching me. But also, if a person is constantly trying to reestablish their posture, then they're not attacking. They're not opening my guard, which is a problem. So when we're breaking down posture in the guard, and this would be a great thing if you have a partner at home, good time to use it. So think about what we did in the warm-up. I have Bear drills here. Now, Bear drills, he's fairly light, I'm not going to lie. Okay, and he's in the guard position here. Okay, I have my guard. I want to do is I want to pull him. So I want to bring my heels into my butt to kind of change the angle of his hips. Now, I don't want to think about pulling him down. I want to think about pulling him forward. So I'm pulling forward, just like we did in the warm-up. Okay, so I want you to make sure you got that good, like 10 times. Really, really good breaking down posture. If you don't have a partner, you can do it just the way we did in the warm-up. So pulling, 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 and then pulling. Okay, that should be pretty good. Now we're going to be working on our collar choke. So we're talking about the collar choke, and I've talked about this in mountain before. The idea is we want to get this part of our wrist kind of behind the guy's neck. Okay, our thumb is up, thumb is behind the ears. Now we're going to lift the chin, and the second hand goes underneath. So we're going to turn to the side, just like we did on that arm bar last week, to get our second hand on the collar. Now I'm going to grab both hands on the collar. I turn my wrist in, grab the back of the gi. Now I'm going to make my chest bigger and my back smaller. And I'll even put my head on the mat, and then I'll hip bridge up to finish the choke. So the way it works without a partner, I break down posture in the guard. I stick a hand on the collar, 1, turn, 2. See, I did the turn. Now I grab both, turn my wrists in. Now I'm going to essentially hip bridge to finish. Okay? Keeping my elbows really tight to the body. So I really try to put a lot of effort into the solo drills that I do. So you're going to see all these movements, these micro movements in the technique. Okay? Because all movement is universal. It's not like this movement is just jiu-jitsu movement. No, all good movement is good movement. So get the guard. I'm going to show from a couple different angles. Break down posture in the guard first. Now he's got a really big head, so you have to apologize. I'm going to stick my hand really deep in the collar, so it's behind Bear Grylls' ear. I lift the chin. Now I'm going to turn, pivot. Second hand gets in the collar. And once I get the second hand in the collar, now I'm going to square up to face. Now I'm going to turn my wrists in, then make my chest bigger, my back smaller, and then I bridge my hips into Bear Grylls to put pressure on the neck. Kind of like I'm hanging the guy. Other angle. So I have Bear Grylls here. I break down posture. So I have a hand in the collar, but I can't really choke from here. So I break down posture first. Hand in the collar. I use my elbow to lift the chin. Now I'm going to turn to pivot. I even release a little bit on this side, so I get the second hand really deep in the collar. I square back up, I turn my wrists in. Now, I want to make my chest bigger and my back smaller, and then I bridge my hips in to finish. That is going to be the collar choke. So, if anyone has any questions about the collar choke at this moment, now would be a really good time to ask, so that we're about like 15 minutes into the class before I get into like the sit-up sweep. So I really like the collar choke a lot. I think it works really well. I used to hate it when I was a lower ranking belt because I'm like, that's when it doesn't work. Mostly because I was doing it wrong. So the key component here is you have to break down the posture of the guard. Okay? If you break down the posture of the guard, it's going to make it a lot easier to get higher finishing positions. So I think find out where the fight actually is in the jiu-jitsu. So for me, I'm always trying to do a couple of things in the closed guard, because that's usually where I finish people, is in the closed guard. So we're either trying to break down posture in the guard, bring the arm past center line, or bug your base. So in this particular case, I'm trying to break down posture and put a hand on the collar, so I'm connected to the upper part of their spine. Now, depending on what they do, dictates my follow-up. So like last week, we talked about the arm bar and the triangle. This week, we're using the collar choke, and then we're going to use that to set up sit-up sweep. Okay? So are there any questions about the collar choke? If not, we will continue. I will take this in overwhelming silence now. So typically speaking, when we're talking about the sit-up sweep, I do the sit-up sweep when the person starts to posture back up again. That's what we're talking about. So when I feel the person start to posture back up again, that's when I do the sit-up sweep. So I put a hand on the collar, I break down the posture. I feel the person start to posture up. I'm going to rock up to my tall sit. Okay, when I do this, it's very important that my elbow kind of is behind center line. My hand is pointed away from me in a good tall sit. Now, I'm going to make sure that I frame here and reach across, trapping the arm. Now I'm going to be here. Now, think about that plank that we did. We want to kind of plank up and pushing our hips forward. So it's kind of like that cross kneeling. I'm going to roll over my ankle and then take a big step, U-turn, to face the opposite direction. So you see it's a combination of the side bend sit get up and the regular get up. So if you did all those movements, this should feel pretty easy. So break down the posture so you can hand the collar. They posture up. I use the momentum to come to the top, to my tall sit. My foot is on the ground. I'm going to kind of plank, push off the ground, and lock out my hips as I trap the arm. So this is very similar to what we did. Now, the idea is I'm going to roll over my shin, U-turn, to be in the mount position. And that is essentially your sit-up sweep. But I'm really pushing off the ground, really utilizing my hips. And that's what makes this move very powerful. So, have Bear Grylls here. I'm going to choke Bear Grylls. Bear Grylls postures up. Come up to my hand. Now the hand that's in the collar, that's the one that's going to reach across to trap his arm so it doesn't base. Put my foot on the mat. I'm going to push my hips in and then U-turn. You'll notice with the finish of the sweep, Bear Grylls is facing the opposite direction. So that's what we're looking for here. So I've got my guard closed. Hand in the collar. Now, I break down posture. Bear Grylls postures back up. I use the momentum to help me get to my tall sit. I'm going to push my hips in. Remember, I need to trap that arm, keeping this really tight. Pushing my hips in. U-turn to the top. That's what we're looking for. Okay, that's going to be your sit-up sweep. It's actually my favorite sweep. It's probably my highest finishing sweep that I have. Definitely the highest sweep that I have from the close guard. And what I really like about it is that if your mechanics, like you're driving your hips into the person, is very effective, it's really hard to counter if you're basically doing it correctly at the right time. So when the person repostures back up, you're just taking them in the direction they want to go anyway. And that's the timing of it. Breaking down the posture, going for the collar choke, and then pushing your hips in to finish it. That's really what we're looking for here for that sit-up sweep. So now I'm going to open it up to questions. If anyone had any questions about the sit-up sweep or the collar choke, or how we use the collar choke to set up the sit-up sweep, any of those questions would be now would be a great time to ask. If not, I'm going to call it a day. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, I know I had kind of a couple-week hiatus, kind of with everything going on. Pumping out 6 videos a week was tricky for a little bit, but I know a lot of people are kind of back to training in real life. So I hope everyone found the videos, helpful. Just a quick reminder, make sure you subscribe, like, and share the video. That really helps me out a lot. And if you would like to support the channel, you can become a patron on Patreon. That really helps me out a lot. Also, I am available for Zoom private lessons. So over the internet, if that's something that you are interested in checking out, you can contact me directly and set up a private lesson over Zoom, and I can kind of analyze your movement and kind of give you some good feedback. I also have Solo Drills Foundations on Vimeo for purchase and rent. So thank you guys so much for tuning in as always. And as you remember, drillers make killers.